Oh my
Hello.
goodness. I'm going to share this little video quickly though. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
show. All right. So for everyone that's hopping on right now, I am absolutely so ecstatic, so excited, so invigorated to share this wonderful human being with all of you. Her name is Brittany Patricia. I don't know if it's just pronounced Patricia, probably, but
Patricia. I like
Patricia.
Patricia though.
Patricia. Um, and she helps network marketers to really live their best life and create more clients. And she has an amazing Facebook group, and she has an amazing 5-day biz challenge. And
Yeah,
so I'm sure that she'll talk a little bit about that as well.
of course.
And she's married to her best friend, and she's chasing her dreams every day. And I'm not sure if there's much. I guess something else that she focuses on is really being able to sell authentically without feeling spammy or yucky or
Yeah.
gross. And so I'm so grateful to have you here, Brittany. And I'd love for you to just kind of share like a little bit more about yourself, more about your journey, what ended you up doing what you're doing now, where did you begin, and all of that.
All of that stuff. All right. So I guess my journey in network marketing started quite a few years ago before, I guess, when I was first pregnant with my first child. Um, and I had been reached out to several times, and I just kept being like, it's fine. I have a job. I just finished school. It's fine. I don't need to do it. But then I was like, all right. I'll try it. So I got into the network marketing space, and I stayed in it. I was kind of switching companies here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was never a matter of shiny object syndrome or like not liking the company I was with. I just felt that I needed to follow my heart or whatever was pulling me towards the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyway, through that journey, I realized that I was coaching others in their business, regardless of what company they were with. And I was like, okay, I need to follow this and take it into my own hands. So I like to stay in the network marketing space, like with a company, but also have my own, so I can really coach others to do well in the network marketing space. I find over the years it's come to like, I don't know, some people look down, a lot of people look down on network marketing, and it doesn't have to be like that because it's not shitty. And
Yeah,
it, it only is if you make it, right? So I really like
sure.
to dive in and help people be authentic and stay genuine so that you don't have to feel icky and you can feel confident in what you're doing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you started there, or you started looking around, kind of dabbling in network marketing. Then you
Yeah.
started doing it, and then you were finding success, but you kind of switched between a few companies because for whatever reason you were just drawn to these other companies. And
Mhm.
then you started, basically people were asking you for advice, I'm sure, and you
Mhm.
started giving it to them, and they were getting results, and you were like, oh, like light bulb, I should be doing this.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And so how long have you been coaching network marketers?
Hmm. So officially only about a year, just over a year, but unofficially it's been like probably close to 5 years.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. And so, like, what do you find is your favorite part about like working in the network marketing space in the way that you do?
I just find it so fun. I don't know. I find other areas of business can be so structured and kind of like, what word am I looking for? I don't know, a little intimidating.
Rigid? Oh, intimidating.
Yeah, or like serious. But I find if you're in that space, you can kind of just have fun with it, with your
Mm,
selling and with bringing people onto your team and just kind of like, you know, be yourself and have fun with it. I love it.
yeah, I love that. So what about the network marketing space allows people to have more fun like with their selling, and like what is the fun way of selling inside of the network marketing space?
Mm. I feel like that's a tricky question. Um, I don't
Well,
know. I just feel like,
let's What's tricky about it, do you think?
I'm just not good at answering questions, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it's all my fault. I gotta ask if I'm feeling inspired to answer the questions, then I'm asking the wrong questions, you know?
It's all good. No, I think it might be something about positioning. I felt really stressed when I made the decision that I was going to jump over to the coaching space, because I was like, okay, now I have to position myself as the expert, and I have to make sure that people look up to me to like trust me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the network marketing space, you don't want to be the expert, because you want to be able to duplicate what you're doing. So people are inspired to jump on board with you. If you are the expert and people see that you're the expert, they're like, shit, I can't do that, because I'm going to have to know this and this and this, and I'm going to have to know how to do this and all of this stuff. I can't do that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you can just be who you actually are, as opposed to like putting on this, like, I don't want to say facade, but like instead of having this added barrier of like expert status, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Having said all that, the more you're in the coaching space or the online business space, you realize that it's not stressful. Like you still can just be yourself, right? And you're able to have fun with it. But I think initially it's just a bit of a difference between the two.
Yeah, and you can pull on the integrity of the company that you're working with, right, in network marketing.
Exactly.
So that's good too. Yeah, Peter is saying, be real. Felipe says, what's up? So
what's up?
If you're here in the chat, if you're watching live and you don't know who's on here, it is Brittany Patricia. She is here. She coaches network marketers. She's a network marketing coach, expert. And if you want to find out more about her, you can go to facebook.com/Brittany Patricia S. And I highly recommend it because she's dope. And if you're on here live, give it #live and hit lots of hearts and comments and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
that's
do that.
Nice. So you're on this journey. You've been on it for about 5 years, really like digging in for this last year. What does the future look like? What does your business look like in 3 years? And you're like looking back, you're like, oh my goodness, these last 3 years were amazing. I can't believe that this happened and this happened and this happened. Like, what are those this happenings?
Okay, I've got some big plans.
I love that.
So, I mean, I'm going to leave the corporate world. I need to be really careful about where I say that, but I mean, I think we all know that that's where I'm aiming anyway. So I'm going to, this business and this journey in this business is going to allow me to do that. And being able to do that is going to allow me to take my kid and drop her off at school, be there to pick her up when she's done, take days off when we need to go to appointments or if there's a sick day, and not have to worry about asking anybody for permission for those days. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Over the next 3 years, I'm going to be, this is me.
This is you. I love it. Cool. And then and you said you have 2 children. Is that correct?
Yes.
How has been the balance of like raising children and growing this business? Like, what is that like? Because I don't have children, but
it's freaking hard. I'm not going to lie. But thinking about the future and the freedom that we'll have is really, really freaking cool. So it makes it okay to have those moments where there's, there's some nights where I know I need to do work on my business, but both kids want me to lay with them. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to turn them down to do my business, but maybe I have like a scheduled live or something. So there is a lot of times where I'm kind of like, online tribe, I got to just hold on because I got to lay down with my kids. But you just kind of like, you find ways to make it work. You don't necessarily find balance, but you find ways to make harmony between it all.
Nice. Have you read, are you familiar with Jim Quick?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh, that's so interesting. He uses that same analogy. Like you're not necessarily always going to find balance between like work and life and business, but if you can find harmony where they're like working together how they need to, then that's exactly what you want. Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
it's a balance. It's a harmony. It's not a balance. It's a harmony.
Yeah.
And what's some advice that you would give to yourself, like if you were just starting out, or what's advice that you see a lot of network marketers like making this mistake, and you're like, don't make, what would the advice be that you would give to them, like a mistake that people make all the time?
Okay, wait.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase the question because I kind of went on a tangent there. Now
And my dog was barking. It's okay.
let me really back. Okay, so I would love for you to share some wisdom and knowledge with anyone that's in the network marketing space or in similar spaces. What is something, or what's an error or a make or a area for growth that you see a lot of network marketers and MLM marketers making, that you're like, this is the easiest thing to solve, or this is the biggest thing to solve?
Okay. Conversations in Messenger. So it's so easy to take a message or a template of a message and copy it and paste it and just send it. And I have nothing against sending a template and sharing templates with people so they kind of have an idea of like, use it as bones for your message, but make it your own, and don't just copy and paste mindlessly, because you will copy people's names and message the people with not that name. And then it's totally obvious that you're not being genuine. And another thing that kind of it'll make you struggle more if you're doing that is if you're copying and pasting messages that you have not written, it's harder to respond and have a natural conversation. So I always like to say, keep it simple, sister. So just don't make it complicated. Keep it simple. Say short messages, like say less, more is another thing that I often say. Like more often, say less. Just simple messages so you have easier way to speak.
That's a gem right there. Say less, more.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. And then use templates as bones. And now, could you walk me through like the framework that you have been using to like help people have authentic, genuine conversations in Messenger?
Yeah. So
I might be asking too much sauce, right? They might have to join your group to get this, But.
No, it's good. I made a post yesterday that you gotta pour value into other people. Don't gate your information. So I'm up for sharing it all.
Okay.
So let's think of an example. Let's say we made a story on Instagram and or Facebook, and it was one of your products that you want to sell, and people have responded to a poll that you put up in it. Super easy way to start a conversation with people. And in order to keep it simple, I would just show people to go into that poll response, go to that person and say, hey, I saw you voted on my poll. I don't know, like sometimes I say, often people hit the button by mistake. Did you mean to vote on the poll or something? Just kind of like to break that ice, because some people find it awkward if they're like, hey, I saw you voted on my poll. Do you want my product? You should buy it from me. And then people are like, well, I didn't even need to. So there's that.
Nice. Yes.
So I kind of show them different ways to break that ice that way. And then just tell them to send short messages and messages to kind of like grow the relationship while you're figuring out, I don't know how I'm saying this right now, while you're figuring out if you can help them. So like there's so many people in the online space, and you don't know that you can help everybody.
You can't help everyone with
can't.
your single product?
No, you can't.
This is news to me.
I know.
I'm totally shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first, so this is what I got so far. We got an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Right? We got an icebreaker. We got to open up the conversation. Someone who engaged with you, someone who liked or commented, shared, did something with your business or your page. You break the ice, and then you're finding out if there's some kind of problem that your product can solve.
Yeah, and you can do that by asking questions.
What are some of those questions, Brittany?
Well, okay, let's say it was me specifically that made that story post, and someone voted on my poll, and it was about the coffee that I drink and that I sell. I would ask them questions about, like, let's back up for a minute.
Okay.
I like to be a little bold in my messages too, and after I ask them, like, break the ice, I'll say, do you want more information on the coffee that I posted about? And if they're like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm like, okay, cool. How was your day? And I keep talking to them because they don't want the coffee, but they might want the tea, for example.
Yeah, they might want to, you don't know what they don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And for everyone watching, everyone listening to this, it's a framework. So you got to put your own style on it. Brittany, she's bold, just like her coffee. So she goes in and she just asks a simple question. Do you want more information about the coffee? Not assuming and just being like, hey, buy this coffee, but being like, is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah, which can play a huge part. Like, even just asking the question rather than straight up sending your link can make all the difference in the world in how that conversation can go. Recently, I've received so many messages from strangers just sharing the links. Actually, right before I got on here, I received a second message from someone with a link to one of their videos on YouTube. And I had never talked to her before. And I was like, this is not what you want to do.
Right. Perfect
Ask
example
if they want to see it.
of not what to do.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so permission is huge.
Yeah.
And that's why that icebreaker is so important. Because you're like, some people, if they commented on the poll, you're saying, or if they commented on something, you're assuming that they actually meant to do that, right? Or they had a true intention behind it. But you're going in there, you're taking out that assumption completely, following the four agreement, just removing it. You're like, is that even what you wanted to do in the first place? I'm not even sure. Like,
yeah.
Love that. That's so juicy. Really bringing down any sales pressure, like any kind of like salesy tactics. It's just like, I'm just trying to find out what's going on. You commented, is that, I don't even know. God.
Yeah, you're really like lowering the resistance. Because if you go straight in and just send a link right away, that resistance wall is going to go straight up, and these people are going to be like, "No, man, I don't want to deal with you."
Yeah, and then I have a question about this like messenger conversation, and like you talked about how they might not want the coffee, but they might want the tea, or they might want something else. How long, or like how do you go about building relationships in Messenger with people who are like not ready for whatever product you have right now?
I guess it would depend on who you're talking to and what your product is and kind of like where you're at now in that relationship. But I'll often just say, okay, cool. Ask them how their day is and then just kind of let it go, but keep their name on the list of leads or potential clients so that I can circle back. And then I would like kind of like up the ante in my branding or in showing up in front of them. So like I would start engaging more with their stories or on their posts so that I can ensure that they're still seeing me and still seeing what's going on in my world. And then they might be more apt to reach out to me rather than the other way around.
That's key. The attraction as opposed to the, I don't know, the grasping.
Yeah, chasing.
Chasing. Yeah. Needy is creepy. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, okay, those were just some straight up gems. And if you're on here live, go ahead and hashtag live, or if you're listening to this later, do something to press like or hashtag replay maybe, because that was some juicy content right there. And what I want to find out more about right now is I know that you have this business challenge, and I'd love to hear more about like what that is, what it entails, what's the result of doing the challenge. You know,
Okay.
if you're open to sharing about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's still time to get in there too. So if at the end you feel like you could get value, or you know anyone that could get value from it, come chat with me, because there's still room and time to jump in. Essentially, the result you're going to get after going through the challenge or the boot camp is your next 5 customers. So I'm going to run through the framework and the exact steps that you need to take to find and what we're secure your next 5 customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So on day 1, I just ran through the power of one and how important it is to focus on like one reason that people are buying from you, one dream client, and one platform, etc. And then last night we ran through daily activities that you should be doing and you can do. And we talked about how it's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. Like what works for me may not work for Michael. What works for Michael may not work for me. Maybe it does work for both of us, but we don't know that until we try it.
Yeah.
So there's so many strategies out there, and it's so hard to cut the noise. So what I help you do is run through all of those activities and find the ones that feel good and work for you and your business, so that you can implement them and then secure those clients and teammates.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That sounds amazing.
It's super fun.
It sounds fantastic. If you want to join, go ahead to facebook.com/Brittany Patricia S. And I think if you click in her banner cover photo,
yep,
you can join the challenge right there. It's that easy.
Super easy.
So thanks for sharing a little bit about that. What's coming up in what day is it today? Is it day 3 of the challenge?
It's day 3, yeah. Tuesday was supposed to be day 2, but we had a bit of a hiccup, so it's all good.
That's what happens in life, right?
Yep, it's true.
There are hiccups. Yeah.
So day 3 is today, and we're going to run through how to connect with your audience, how to grow your audience, cleanse it, and then build those relationships really strongly for those that are in your circle right now.
So juicy. I keep using that term. That's the only way I can describe it. There's so much goodness in there. I need to join, apparently. I should have joined earlier, but I missed it.
You're in my group. You can still do it.
I'm going to join. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So tell me, Brittany, I want to make a little bit of a transition here, talking a little bit like strategies are fantastic, but I'm curious what shifts in your mindset that you've needed to take on, or you need your clients to take on in order for them to really have success.
Man, mindset is huge. Like something as little as a thought in your head that says, maybe I don't really know what I'm doing, is enough to kick you off track and set you so far behind. So a huge thing for mindset is to, okay, wait, I have an actual exercise that like changed everything for me.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it again tonight, and I want you to do it. And everyone who's watching, go ahead and do this, because it will change your life.
Okay. Man, if you're committed, if you're watching, go ahead and put #committed to right in the chat.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for this. I'm ready.
So, okay. So a lot of times the things that hold us back is our own doubts, our own self-doubts. And we have imposter syndrome and all of that stuff. So the way to get rid of that and come in really strongly is to make a list of 100 reasons why people should either buy from you or work with you, depending on what business you're in, right? If you're in the product business, write a list of 100 reasons why people should buy your product. If you're in the service-based industry, write down 100 reasons why people should work with you, come to you as a coach or whatever. And then read it out loud and share it with the world. And then you're like, I'm awesome.
I love
and
that.
Translate through into your business. It's
I
good.
love that. Super simple, super actionable. 100 things. Write it out. Read it out loud. Share it with everybody that you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
and you don't have to do it all at one time, right? Like you might sit down tonight to start it and get 20. Sometimes it starts getting harder because the more you write down, the deeper you're going to get. So it's okay to just write a few down today. And then tomorrow throughout the day, you're going to be like, oh, there's another thing I can write down. So like carry the list with you everywhere you go. Put it on your phone if you need to, and just add to it until you get to 100. And I promise it will change everything for you.
What did that, I'm curious, like when you first did that exercise, like what did it do for you?
It really encouraged me to show up. So a huge thing for me in the past was anxiety for showing up for sales calls, for interviews like this, or doing my own live streams. I would get to like 5 minutes before and be like, no, like I have a migraine today. I can't do it. Or I'd get an interview and be like, I'm really sick today. I can't, I'm sorry. And I'd just find the world would find every excuse under the sun for me not to do that thing that I was supposed to do. Because anxiety works in funny ways. So once I had that list done and I realized what I could provide, the value that I can provide, and like the disservice I was doing by not showing up, it flipped that switch for me. And I started showing up and I stopped making all of the excuses to not show up and not help these people.
Wow. That's super powerful.
Yeah.
Just showing up because you matter.
It's a pretty simple thing, but super powerful.
It's super powerful. Yeah. Well, I'm really grateful that you're here and sharing all of this wisdom with me and with everyone that is going to watch and listen to this. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah. What kinds of hobbies do you have? Do you do anything outside of like working or, you know?
No, I work and I come home and I hang out with my kiddos and my husband, and then I work and then I go to sleep. And then I get up and go to work. Play with my kids.
All right, perfect. So, you know, what would be something in the, like when you have more freedom, what's something that you're going to take on as like something that you're really passionate about, or maybe you were passionate about it earlier on in life and it kind of got pushed aside? What's something that you're going to
There's so many things.
I want to hear all of them.
Okay.
So
the biggest thing recently is I've been like craving to read a book, which is weird, but I just want to like lay on the couch and read a good book. So that's what I will do. And I really, really want to learn how to do sign language. So I've learned a little bit about that, but it takes a lot of brain power and time. And I just like, back to the power of one, I need to keep my focus on one big thing at a time. So I'm saving that in my back pocket for when I have more time to learn, because it's so cool. Yeah, and more time for music. I used to play the fiddle and sing and a bunch of music stuff, and I miss it, but I don't do it anymore.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so read a good book. What's a good book for you? Like, what book are you going to read?
I don't even know. Something really cheesy, like a love book or something.
All right, perfect. Yeah, love that. Love a love book. ASL, yeah, that's a huge commitment. I myself, I really want to learn like French and German.
Oh yeah.
But that will take a long time, and I haven't really started doing that at all. And music, you should play more music for sure. I highly recommend music.
Yeah,
Um,
it's yeah.
yeah. And let's see here. Let me pull up some of else that we want to talk about. So now with with network marketing, are a lot of people selling, or do most of your clients sell through like Messenger or DMs, or are people getting onto calls or doing presentations for that?
You know what? Presentations and like in-home parties and whatnot used to be super popular, but that's more of a thing that everybody's trying to get away from
Yeah.
now. And yeah, the majority of it happens right in Messenger or a text message. You get the off, like, I don't know. There's a few people that really still enjoy getting on a phone call. So we often do that, but the majority of it, yeah, is right in Messenger or text, which is awesome because, I mean, if you want to get your voice in there, you can send a voice message, which I do often. One, just because it's way faster than typing, but also just so they can kind of like get your vibe and stuff from that.
Okay, cool. So when it comes to people selling like authentically without feeling spammy, that's all like in the Messenger conversation, pretty much, or in the voice usage.
Yeah. So, okay. So like 90% of it would be in Messenger. And then the other 10% is through your marketing on your, like your Facebook wall or your Instagram or in your emails if you're sending emails.
Okay, got it. So it's okay. So it's like your authenticity in the voice that you're using for your messaging.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so like what are some, I'd love to, let's dig back into the tactics if you're open to it. Like what are some things that let people like sound or feel more authentic in their messaging? Or like, see, this is a weird question because like when you're just yourself, then it just comes across that way. But obviously, this is the real question. How do you blend trying to market something and being authentic at the same time?
You just do it. And through showing up and sending the messages and showing up and making those posts, you find your voice and you find out who you are so that you can follow that voice. Because if you're not posting and you're not sending the messages, then everything's going to feel unnatural and it's all going to feel icky because you're just not used to doing it. Yeah, you gotta do the stuff to figure the stuff out.
That is probably that's so insightful because I definitely feel like there are a lot of people who will kind of like wait or like they post very infrequently and they're like when they do post it feels really weird. It's just like because they haven't done it enough and they haven't gotten any kind of market feedback about like is this what people are relating to? Is it not what they're relating to?
Yeah. Yeah, if you only post once and it gets crickets and then you don't post again because you think that people don't like your stuff, then you'll never figure out what is going to work.
So how many times a day do you post and like what platforms what's your one platform right now?
Facebook. And right now I'm in a phase where I'm just doing once a day. On my personal wall, I mean, including my group and whatnot. It's hard to say because I'm in the middle of doing the boot camp too. But on a regular week, on my wall, just once a day. Okay,
got it. So at least once a day is what people should be doing. If they're not doing once a day, are they missing out?
Well, it depends. This is what I tell my clients and the people who work with me, because a big question is how often do I need to be posting? How often do I need to show up? But it all comes down to consistency rather than the number exactly. Because if you post once today and then you post twice tomorrow and then you don't post it all the next day and then you post 4 times the next day, people are going to be like, what is going on? And you'll find so much more power and value and momentum if you can only show up once a week to be consistent. Then show up on a Wednesday, make your post, and never miss a Wednesday. And you'll find that much more momentum and success in your business. Just from, I don't really know what the secret is about consistency, but it works. You have to be consistent. So pick something that you can be consistent with, whether it's 1 or 3, and stick to it and never miss it.
Great. Another piece of great advice. So, I mean, I don't want to take up all of your time. I really appreciate you being here. So I just have like 2 more questions for you, and then we can take this to a wrap.
All right.
What is something that you are really grateful for right now?
Support. So I'm actually really spoiled when it comes to trying to take the time to do my business, because a lot of people, I mean, there are some moms who are working full time and they're trying to build a business, but they don't have anyone to watch their kids if they need to take a half hour to do a live stream, or if there's some calls that they need to hop on. But I'm surrounded by people who are willing to jump in and help me out. My husband is here for me all the time if I need him to watch the kids, or just like make sure that they stay asleep. And then even when he's not here, my sister, one day I had a coaching call with my group on a Saturday, and Evan was working, and she showed up with her kids and just played with all of the kids while I did my call. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm super grateful for that support.
Yeah, love that. And then last question is, what is something that brings you joy every day?
Oh man. Well, that's a big list again, but my family is first for sure. And my friends bring me joy, and my coffee.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for being on here, Brittany. This was super duper fun. I had a blast. If you're listening to this or watching this, you can connect with Brittany at facebook.com/Brittany Patricia S. And any last words? Any parting guidance?
Keep it simple, sister.
Keep it simple, sister. I love it. All right. I'm going to end this live. If you're on here on